sacred stillness and magical movement. So in honor of the sacred stillness today, it is literally you and me on the sofa. So I'm in my sacred stillness space today, and I would love for you to join me in your sacred stillness space today. Get cozy, get comfortable, get a cup of tea, come join in. And it's the perfect day for sacred stillness today here in the UK. It is raining, it is cozy, and we're in the sacred, cozy, sacred stillness space today. Okay, so let me know in comments where you are joining this from today. Do you have a cozy space that you're joining from today? I can't wait to talk about this with you. So, what do I mean by sacred stillness and magical movement? So this is something that I've seen in my own experience of creating the life, the business, the love, my dreams, and helping hundreds of women over the years do the same. And this is also with my background in neuroscience. So this is neuroscience backed. This is backed on research on the quantum field as well, about what it takes to create success, to manifest, to live that life of your dreams, to receive magic money in a way that is in alignment with your most authentic self. So this is for you today if you are sensitive, intuitive, and you have big dreams and goals for what you want to achieve in this world. And you want to achieve those dreams without the push, without the hustle, because you've done that in the past. You've done that in the past, and that is the old paradigm. Getting yourself into burnout for results, that is all old paradigm. And the energy right now is consistent with feminine leadership, with slowing down to speed up. And this is where the sacred stillness leads to the magical movement. So, what I want today's session to be is an activation for you. And as you join me in this sacred stillness, in this sacred space, and I'm in a really, really beautiful location today, surrounded by trees. And this sacred stillness, I want this to be a space for you to connect to yourself through that sacred stillness, and for me to hold space for you through this session so that you can connect back to yourself, so that you can receive messages, so that you can connect to what is authentically right for you. And this is where the magic happens, and this is then where we step into the movement. So I have an actual real life example of something that happened this morning. But before I share that, I guess I just want to rewind back a bit, because I'm in a space right now that I have manifested, that I have brought to life, where I can come and have sacred stillness. And this is something that it kind of seems like it just kind of magically happened. It just kind of landed in my lap. But when I reflect on this, it kind of didn't land on my lap. I did have to put the work in. I did have to do some work. But it did happen quite magically. So when I was sitting down, and funnily enough, in sacred stillness, I was tuning in that I desired these spaces that I could be in on my own. Because I love, love, love having these moments of alone time where I'm just in flow, I'm just taking care of my needs and I'm working and I'm just in this like joyful flow of life. And I just really knew that that was what was meant for me. You know, I'm an introvert, I'm very highly sensitive, I'm neurodivergent, and I knew that I needed to have environments that matched that. I needed to be away from people. I'm incredibly like psychic and I pick up on everyone else's stuff all the time. And I always thought that was something I needed to fix. But actually what I needed to do was to claim that sacred stillness and come away from people. And so this was like part of that calling that in, was like through the sacred stillness, that message came in of like, I desire these spaces and environments where I'm surrounded by water, where I have an opportunity to be in water. This is also really important for me. So is there a bath? Is there a hot tub? Is there a river? Is there a beach? Like being near water is really important for me. So I had these realizations, these visions come in about what was meant for me. And at the time these were coming in, I was living somewhere that was not like this. I was living somewhere that was not like this. It wasn't quite in alignment with that vision. And so I just started to ask, like, what else is possible? And this, to shortcut the whole process, this is what led me to manifesting these spaces. So the space I'm in today, I'm looking after the most beautiful little dog. We've just been out walking in the rain. My hair's been quite frizzed. And I get to come here and work here. I then have another couple of spaces where I pet sit, where I house sit. And these opportunities, this is like a beautiful space by the river and a nature reserve, like surrounded by water. I've got another place which is like this beautiful cottage where there's a hot tub, this lovely outdoor seating area where I can like meditate in the mornings. And there's like an amazing fireplace for the winter as well. And so I've created these spaces, which are my sacred stillness spaces, like through the sacred stillness. Anyway, to get to the point of what I'm trying to say, because I could talk forever about how I've manifested this. So not only did I manifest my dream life by the sea with my soulmate, but what I also manifested is these sacred stillness, these spaces where I can come and I can have that sacred stillness. So this morning I came here early because I wanted to make the most of that sacred stillness time, that alone time. And I had a Pilates class this morning on Zoom. And I was just really tuning into the piece. And you can probably feel it. Like, can you hear? Like, there's no noise. Just complete stillness, right? So I was tuning into the stillness this morning in Pilates. And then this idea just dropped in. This idea just dropped in about my work. Because I've been asking lately about how can I have more impact? How can I help more women? Like, I know there is more inside of me. There's a whole world of women right now that need my help. Of course, the right people, like, and I've been doing this work since 2014 when I finished my positive psychology qualification, and I became a strengths coach, and I started helping leaders and teams and running wellbeing projects. So I've got like this 11 now, like years of, knowledge and background and neuroscience that backs all this stuff, then the personal experience. And I was like, in this sacred stillness, I was like, how can I help more people? And then I just had this idea come in, like halfway through Pilates, this idea dropped in, and it was like, go and do this thing. Go and offer this thing, like go and help. And this idea came in, and I know that idea, and that has now come into fruition already, like, and it's only like lunchtime here. So when you allow the sacred stillness, you will be very clearly guided on where to go next. And the dog is having a dream, so I say it's quiet, but the dog is sleep barking. So this is what I see most commonly, is women not allowing the sacred stillness. And we have to create that sacred stillness. We have to create those spaces for ourselves. And this is very much, if you like, the sacred stillness itself is the feminine energy, because the feminine is the oracle, the channel. She's that open channel for that message from the divine, from God, to come through, okay? So she needs to be that open vessel. That's like the feminine energy, the channel, like in the sacred space, in the sacred stillness is the feminine energy. But we can't, that's not something, for many of us, that's not something that just happens. It's not something we're gifted. It's not something we're given, unless we have like really aligned people in our lives. So like some of my friends are so aligned that they will say to me, I know you've just driven here, so I'm going to make you a cup of tea. And one of my friends has a sauna, which is amazing. She doesn't make me a cup of tea for the sauna, but she'll say like, here's a cup of tea, go sit in the garden, or go sit in the sauna and have some time in there, and then we'll catch up. So the people that get you, like the people that are your tribe, they will get this, and they will create spaces for you to do this. My parents, this has taken years, but me and my parents are now at this point where when I go to them, they're about an hour and a half's drive from me at the moment. And when I go to them, they're like, I know you find driving really overwhelming. Why don't you sit in the swing seat for a bit with a cup of tea? Okay, so the people that are really aligned for you will help you create these sacred spaces. Like, this is what, when you come into my world, like, this is the work we do together, right? This is what I want for you, to have that sacred space so you can connect to you. This is literally why I'm doing this session today, because I want you to be able to connect to you. Okay, so the intention is that deeper connection with yourself. But we have to create this space for ourselves. Because unless you've got those really aligned people that I've got, a handful of people that would do that for me, but that's only through advocating for myself. We have to create these spaces for ourselves. So this is where that masculine energy comes in. The structures, the plans, okay? So I made a plan with my friend that I would come and look after her dog today. So I got the intuitive hit through the sacred space in the first place that I wanted these places to open up for me. And then I took the masculine action to reach out to my friend, who I was house sitting for her when she was going on holiday. I was looking after the animals. And then I just said to her one day, look, hey, you have to be in the office some days. Would it be useful if I just came to yours once a week, looked after your animals, and then you don't have to worry. You don't have to, pay to get the dog walker in. You don't have to take the dog to the office because she's sometimes and that would really benefit me because it gives me that sacred stillness, okay? So I took the action. So sometimes we have to take the action, have the plan, have the structure. even the way you set up your week. So I have certain days of the week where I do calls, certain days of the week I do content, certain days of the week that I have off. Coral and I have days off together during the week when we're not working. So even the way that I structure my week, like that is a masculine structure to allow that space of sacred stillness, which is the feminine. And then in that space of sacred stillness, which is like what I was in this morning in my Pilates class, like here in this space, we get the intuitive guidance, we get the magical movement, and we put the magical movement in place, and we take the action and we move forward. So if you're saying that if you're stuck with something, if you're like, I'm not sure which direction to go in, I'm not sure where to go, I don't know what action to take. And how many of us, right, we've all done this, have just taken action anyway. Like for me, somebody who was in corporate, in financial services, I was a leadership coach in corporate in the later years. And I was in corporate for 15 years. And that whole like presenteeism thing was so big. I was literally like, I'm at my laptop, I'm active, my Skype is active in case anyone needs to contact me. And even if I had no work to do, I would still be there on my laptop. Like that presenteeism thing, so deeply ingrained in me. Taking the action just for the sake of taking the action, right? That doesn't actually get us anywhere. So if you're not sure what action to take, the action is always sacred stillness. It's always sacred stillness. It's always that connection back to self. It's always the giving to self first. Think about Maslow's hierarchy. I'm sure you've all seen Maslow's hierarchy. You've got the basic needs at the bottom. Food, sleep, shelter, right? Then we come into the other needs, such as, things like social connection, meeting our goals, that sort of thing, right? Sacred stillness is also about meeting those needs, getting that bottom level of the triangle right first. And when we do that, everything else falls into place. We shouldn't be taking any masculine action or being there for anyone else if we're not meeting those basic needs. And I'm saying this and I'm calling this out because those people that aren't sensitive and aren't neurodivergent just this is just what I've seen in my years and years of experience. They just take care of their needs. They just put themselves first. They just do the things. They just listen to their body and do the thing. But so many of us have been so conditioned to putting ourselves last that we're actually not. And this was a huge awareness I had. This came into my business. This came into my business a few years ago when I was looking to do networking events, because I'd heard, you should network, you should do this, you should do that. And I was driving because there aren't any networking events near me. So I have to drive probably at least an hour if I want to go to a networking event at the moment. And I was driving all around the country, because I was getting the train to London as well. I was driving all around to go to these networking events. And when I was doing this, I wasn't really eating properly, or I was rushing. So I was having like a rushed breakfast. I was getting in the car. I was rushing about, probably didn't have proper lunch, or I was trying to just, snack as I went, so that I could go and do the thing, the social connection thing, right? But I wasn't taking care of my basic needs. I wasn't eating. I was rushing about because I was having to drive everywhere. I wasn't properly taking care of my needs. I was putting on weight because I was like rushing about when I was eating. And this was a huge realization for me. And I didn't realize, but there were people out there that, weren't sensitive, weren't empathic, were probably neurotypical, who were just functioning from a space of selfishness and just taking care of their needs. And yeah, I know it sounds really simple. It sounds really simple. But if you look at Maslow's hierarchy, like, so many people are just missing that base layer and the triangle is falling. And that is part of the sacred stillness. So we can't step into that magical movement and take that forward action to, take the masculine action to help bring that thing in, to manifest that thing, to move towards that dream life, to move towards that dream vision, if we're not allowing the sacred stillness. And in that sacred stillness is when we can slow down and we can ask and we can say, like, what do I need to do to be not just in like a cup full place, but in absolute overflow, absolute self-devotion? Because that then leads into that magical movement. And this is how I've been able to take the really aligned actions and do the really big things as well. This is how I did a TEDx. And I didn't fully know at the time, this was 2019, I didn't fully know at the time that this is what I was doing. But I knew something was working. To enable me to get on that stage, somebody that had, not long ago before that, healed extreme social anxiety. I had such strong social anxiety, I couldn't speak up in team huddles that we used to have at work with like 5 people. So to get to doing a TEDx, the amount of sacred stillness that I needed to move in that direction, which is where my soul was calling me, which was a full body yes. As you know, I talk a lot about the sacred yes, the sacred no. Getting on that TEDx stage, despite my mind telling me I could not do it, despite my mind telling me that only few years to that previously, I'd had extreme social anxiety. My body said move. My body said get on the stage. My body said the world needs to hear this message. The world needs to know your mission. And where the UK was in 2019, nobody knew about the stuff I talked about in my TEDx. It needed to be heard. And I went on to help many, many organisations to bring positive psychology and wellbeing practices into their organisations, because the UK was like so far behind. A lot of companies were using research from the 1970s to run wellbeing programs, and none of that research actually was holding up anymore. So like that was all needed, and I needed to get on that stage, and my body was like, this is bigger than you. You need to move. You need to move. Like, that is the magical movement. But to have the confidence and the energy that required to get on that stage, I'm not going to lie, standing on that red dot with the lights like glaring at me and this huge audience and being streamed live to the whole world on YouTube, that was no mean feat. And the energy that it took to get up on that stage, the sacred stillness that required, the sacred stillness to tune in and say, this opportunity has come, is this right for me? And to be able to determine, like, is this right for me? What is my soul telling me? Is this the direction I'm headed in? Is this like where my future timeline is headed? Do I need to be on that stage? And it was like, yes, I need to be on that stage. So the sacred stillness that it took, and this took me saying, because sacred stillness is saying no, right? To a lot of things. If you're saying yes to sacred stillness, which you've said yes to if you're here watching this, so let's just stop in that stillness for a moment. Just to honour that you're here and you've said yes to that today. But that might mean you've said no to other things. It might be that you're catching up with this at a later date. And so you said no to this now. You said yes to something else. Do you see what I mean? Every no is a yes to something else. Every yes is a no to something else. So when you choose to move big, when you choose to move in that direction of your dream and your goals, when you say yes to sacred stillness, it sounds so fluffy. It sounds so gentle. It sounds so nice. Oh, sacred stillness. Sounds like a spa. But that is no mean feat. That takes bravery, courage, fire, boundaries, honouring yourself, honouring your no. And no full stop. No is a full sentence. You do not need to justify yourself. The right people will honour your no. The right people will honour your boundaries. And if they don't, they're not meant for you. So I'd love for you to let me know in comments what is coming through for you right now. What is this space opening up for you right now? And what could be different if you allowed more sacred stillness in your life and really lent into that? What could be different? What could be different in the magical movement you then take, the actions you took? The people that you then went on to help, the clients, the direction of your work. What would be different for you if you gave yourself that extra space? Allowed yourself to even be bored. How many times do you allow yourself to be bored? How many times do you fill that void? How many times in that void space do you feel lonely and that you need to reach out to someone, you need to connect to someone? Instead of holding that void, instead of holding that sacred stillness, instead of connecting more deeply to yourself and your soul, and allowing those messages to come in, allowing your nervous system to regulate, allow you to hold yourself in that stillness, allow yourself that time to heal. And what magic could unfold when you allow that? And this is what leads to that magic movement. And this could literally be magic movement. You could literally be like dancing and calling in your desires. Like this has happened for the women in Quantum Queen. There is a replay in Quantum Queen of a session that we did last year, which was a tantric money activation. And we literally danced our desires in, and all of this magic started to happen in the space. So it could literally be a magical movement, like moving your body. But it comes from the space of the stillness, comes of the space of that connection with yourself, with the divine. And the women that I see that have the most success create those spaces, create that stillness, hold the void, hold the loneliness, take care of their needs, devote to self. And when you devote to self, you will start to see your life arrange around you where others will devote to you. Others will meet you at that level. And if you want to go deeper, if you're feeling the energy of this and you want to go deeper, Quantum Queen is the space for this. This is the space where we will hold you in that sacred stillness and give you space for that magical movement to come through. And in August, we are doing a money magic session, which I cannot wait to do. So we're going to take this more deeply into how you can create magic money by being your authentic self. And I'm going to hold that space of sacred stillness for you so you can open your channel even more deeply, connect back to yourself even more deeply, connect with your soul even more deeply. And the bonus of this space is the number of women that are in there right now, which is quite a small number, but it's over the number that in quantum research has shown the intentions from a group of women. When those women pay attention to each other's intentions and what they're calling in, it's literally been proven by quantum research that a group of women focusing on each other's manifestations amplifies the process of that manifestation and brings it in quicker. And this is what we've seen time and time again in sessions in Quantum Queen, is the ladies hopping on and supporting each other. This is amplifying, this is magnifying that frequency wave that is going out into the quantum field and then bringing you what you desire. So the sacred stillness, and then having a super aligned tribe of cheerleaders, of women that have got your back, that are celebrating you, that are helping you focus on that intention, having those intentions for you to create that. This has been proven by quantum research now. It is so powerful. And in this space of even two women, right? Even if this was just two women, even if this was you and I in a one-to-one session, right? What they've shown in quantum research is 1 + 1 does not equal 2. So one intention and one intention does not equal 2 times intention. It equals something like 8 times intention. Two women together, the power of the intention of two women is equivalent to the power of 8 women or something like that. 8 people. We'll say people in general, but it's more powerful in women because of our ability to create, to magnetize towards ourselves, because women are the open channel to receive, right? So Quantum Queen is the space to really amplify this. If you want big space held for you, we have got the Money Magic Workshop in August, which is going to be another activation for you and safe space for you to call that in for you. And we're going to be doing some clearing around this as well, clearing the energies, clearing the entities, clearing off anything connected that is blocking that flow to you as well. September, we've got an amazing magnetic mastery event, which is going to be all about manifestation, and there's going to be an opportunity to connect more deeply with each other in there in September. And then October, we're doing cosmic coaching. So I'm going to be helping you to also deepen your coaching skills, and in particular around cosmic coaching, which is the real blend of the science and spiritual, blend of the spiritual and mindset, where you're going to be able to deepen your coaching skills as well. So I'm so excited about this space for the next 3 months. I'll pop the link in comments if you want to join us. And if you're thinking this is something you want to just hop into for a month, I literally have. I mean, you can join for a year and save loads of money. But if you want to just hop in for a month, I have literally no judgment on that. And I have women that just hop in for a month and do a workshop, hop in for a month and go on the portal and like catch up with some of the trainings, do the really transformative breathwork sessions for the somatic release. Yeah, no judgment for me in terms of how, I mean, most women do stay. I've had women join for one workshop and then not want to leave. But yeah, this is your space. This is your space, and I'm just here to hold that magic for you. There's some incredible other women in there who will support you, and I will pop the link in comments. If anyone's watching this on the replay, or if you're here,